A century ago, about 1 in 2,500 people would live to the age of 100. Today, it's about 1 in 60. I talked with Stephen Kritchevsky about this and asked him what the people who live the longest are doing right.
Well, it's a combination of things. It's a lifestyle that is active. It is a social context which is supportive of people at every age. It is often a diet that doesn't promote obesity and often includes relatively low amounts of red meat and very plentiful in vegetables and fruits.
So you put that stew together. You take into account all the different factors, the genetics, diet, environment, on and on and on. What would you say is the most important? What should we put at the top of that list?
Well, the way to live to a very old age is not to die at a very young age, and that sounds sort of flip, but it's very true that things like infant nutrition is very important, vaccinations, public health activities to prevent the spread of disease. And if all those things are done, then a very high proportion of a group of people or population will live to old age. Once they get to old age, I think the way to help promote their extreme longevity comes down to a few things. One is maintaining a meaning and purpose of life and a role in the community. But also, part of it is the luck of good genes.
So, Stephen, we're in the news business, so you always have to look at the downside of all of this. And there was a recent poll of Americans asking them about their worries about living to 100. And they say losing mental abilities and relying on others to take care of them are some of their top concerns. How real are those fears?
Well, they're extremely rare. I mean, real. Problems with cognition and mental acuity are very common, especially starting about age 85, and the prevalence of dementia and Alzheimer's disease is very high. Many older people lose the ability to walk long distances and become physically impaired. Though the good news there is, from what we know of people who live to 100, is those problems don't occur well, let me put it a different way. Those problems occur proportionally later in their lives. So people who live to 100 tend to have a longer health span.
Stephen, one of the things I find interesting, and I want you to maybe talk about what you find interesting about people as they age, is my mother lived to be in her 90s. My great uncle lived to be in his late 90s. And one of the things I found fascinating with both of them is they didn't put up with fools. I mean, they really spoke their mind, and I think it's a characteristic you see in elderly people is that they really speak their mind. They don't really care much, and that makes them a lot more fun to be around in some respects, unless, of course, you're saying rather dumb things. But what are some of the things that you like, that you find in people who age, some of the features that you see in them?
Yeah, my mother's 92, and I agree with that lack of filtering. I think that comes also with a lack of personal stress. You don't care anymore what people think of you when you get to be that age. The thing that impresses me with people who are living a long time, and I find inspiring, is that many times you'll talk to someone who may be 95, and they have plans. They're not done with living. And I think a lot of people who are middle-aged or younger think you get us to a certain age and somehow your life is over and less valuable. But with the with the older people that I interact with, I'm always impressed by how full their lives are and how they're looking to make them even richer.
Well, we will leave it there. Stephen Kritchevsky, thank you so much.
You're quite welcome. Enjoy talking with you.